Hi Fosters, Kayla here. I'm with Kelsey, the CVT with our Coco's Vet, and we just wanted to touch base about bland diets and when to use them, how to use them, and we've got Kelsey here to answer some questions. So Kelsey, why would someone consider making or using a bland diet?
Hi, yeah, so one of the most common signs of GI upset would be vomiting or diarrhea. So if at any time your pet is experiencing these, we would ask that you contact your vet. They can make the decision if they recommend switching to a bland diet, but most of the time you call your veterinarian for advice first before transitioning to a bland diet.
Okay, and then what are my options as far as, like, is this something I could purchase, or how would I make one at home?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are two options. The first one that we can go over are prescription diets. So those are going to be prescriptions that you get from your veterinarian once they recommend this transition to a bland diet. Examples of that would be WD from Hills or an ID low-fat diet from Hills as well. It's a pre-made canned food that's specifically formulated to be gentle on the GI system. Another more common option, just so you don't need to have a prescription, and a lot of people prefer this with taste. You're going to take meats, whether it be skinless, boneless chicken or turkey, hamburger or turkey, and you're going to boil that. We want to make sure that we boil it and not pan fry it. So the point of that is when you pan fry meat items, it's going to create lots of grease, and that's not gentle on the GI system. So that's going to cause or increase diarrhea. It can cause vomiting. So when you boil it, you do reduce the risks of increasing any vomiting or diarrhea. But you just want to make sure that when you do boil the meats of their choice, you want to make sure that you're going to skim the top of the water because fat can accumulate on the top. But once you have your meat-based product, you can then add some sort of starch. So whether that be a sweet potato that you can boil and chop up. A lot of people use rice. So you can do white rice or brown rice, and you'll just brown and make it until it's tender so you can eat. And then you can make a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 parts of your starch, so your rice or your sweet potato, or you can do 1 part meat. And then mix that all up into a nice little mixture that they can eat. And then the nice thing about that too is that you can refrigerate it for a couple days if you don't use it all. So you can make a big batch, or you can freeze it if it's for more long-term transition. So those are 2 options.
Awesome, great. Okay, so once I've been feeding once I start my food,
Yeah.
what are some signs that I might need to maybe stop what I'm doing and go back to the vet?
Yeah, so I would say if we're on this bland diet and it continues, something else is going on, I would consider going back to the vet to make sure and recheck maybe whatever they decide to do. But if for whatever reason we stop having the vomiting or diarrhea, which generally on the bland diet takes about 2 to 3 days, and you want to make sure that the stool kind of firms up too, and things seem to be getting better, you can start mixing the bland diet with their normal food. We start out by mixing about 1/4 of the regular food and then 3/4 of the bland diet. And slowly over a couple days, you can do 1/4 each day and then phase out of the bland diet, which is decreasing the bland diet by 1/4 every single time. So total transition time from bland diet to regular diet can take about 4 or 5 days. But the main point that I want to explain, once you're on the bland diet, you can start transitioning out once you've had firmer stool or no vomiting for a few days. So, and if that's not the case, then I would call your local veterinarian to make sure you can go in and get a recheck, because something else is probably going on.
Awesome, great. All right, well, if you have any questions, we're also going to attach this bland diet recommendation to the video, but then also always check in with our recommended veterinarians too if we have any questions about it. Okay, have a great day.